Hello. Before I start this video, I just want to say that I'm agnostic. That means that I have no way of knowing if there is a God or not. So I just say, I don't know. And I think my belief about if a God exists or not is basically irrelevant because I might be wrong either way. So I base my actions upon what is possible and not based upon what I believe. Now, let me get to the point of this video. This is about the big mistake that I think many atheists make. And here's what I'm going to say. I got to start off by explaining to you that belief is not a choice. Many people have the wrong misconception that belief is a choice. Like people decide to be atheists. Or people decide to, be a theist. Or people decide any belief. In fact, beliefs are not a choice. And just to demonstrate, try to change your belief right now. Any belief at all. Just try to change any of your beliefs right now. Bet you can't. It's because belief is an involuntary process. I've talked about this a lot in a lot of my other videos. But I'm going to get to the next point now. The big mistake that I see that atheists are making, many atheists, is that because they don't believe in a God, they take it to the next level and say, okay, well, because I don't believe in a God, then I'm just going to live my life as though there isn't a God. I'm going to act as though there isn't a God. When I think it would be far smarter and more wise to, even if you don't believe in a God, which is not your choice, it's not your choice to be an atheist. That's not your fault. It's not any virtue to believe in God. Right? Because belief is not a choice. So belief is not the fault of the individual. So as an atheist, even if you don't believe in God, you can still live your life with the intention of trying to gain the approval of a theoretical God that might exist, a God that may or may not exist. You can still live your life with that intention. So you're just be like an extra good person. Like you're trying to live your life with the intention that, oh my gosh, everything I'm doing, every little thing is being watched and potentially judged by a God. And that's just a theoretical thing that you're doing to stack the odds in your favor. Potentially, because you don't know for sure that there's not a God, most atheists are agnostic atheists. They admit that they don't know for sure there's not a God. If you have that mentality, if you think that it's possible that there's a God, why not just live your life with the intention of trying to gain the approval of a theoretical God, just in case a God exists? Better safe than sorry. You might earn eternal life as a reward for your extra effort you put into it. Extra effort to try to gain the approval of a theoretical God. See, I see many atheists, they take their non-belief into action. Okay, they don't believe in a God, and they decide, I don't believe in a God, so I'm just going to act on that. I'm going to act on my non-belief. I'm just going to act like I'm not going to be judged. They don't live their life with the judgment mentality, the mentality that this life could be a test. It's like, whatever happened to better safe than sorry? They're not really living with that better safe than sorry mentality. And that's what I want to encourage with the agnostic code. It's like, okay, none of us know if there's a God or not. So why not just be better safe than sorry? Why not just try to gain the approval of a theoretical God that may or may not exist? The worst that can happen is that you were an overachiever and it was for nothing. But the best that can happen is that you were an overachiever, tried to be an extra good person, and you possibly gain eternal life as a reward for that extra effort. Why not try to be perfect? And this brings me to my next point, is that a lot of atheists say, well, I'm a good person without the fear of some sort of theoretical God. Like, they're just like, I'm a good person, but because, for goodness sake, like, I'm a humanist. I'm just a good person because I want to be a good person, you know? That's fine. That's great. I applaud you for that. That's wonderful. But you really need to ask yourself, are you a perfect person? Are you striving for extreme altruism? It's easier to do that if you're living with the mentality of a theoretical judgment. Because if there is a God, a theoretical God, we have no way of knowing how strict the standards are of a theoretical God. Okay, God is a big question mark, and so are the standards of a theoretical God, the standards of judgment. So what I'm saying is, potentially, if there is a God, a theoretical God might require like near perfection, like an extremely awesome person who's just charitable and just like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Like a really amazing type of person. So I hope that as atheists, as agnostics, and as theists, everyone should just be trying to strive for that ideal self-image of like perfection. And so, like, you know, where a lot of theists go wrong is they think, well, I'm going to be forgiven, so I don't need to be, you know, super good because God is infinitely graceful and lenient. That's an assumption. So the agnostic code, which I created, is about stop risking your theoretical eternal life, your eternal life, that you might gain some sort of reward from a theoretical God. Why risk that on assumptions? Just live according to what's possible. It's possible there is a God. We don't know. And what I'm going to say to the theist is, look, it's possible that there is no forgiveness. Don't assume things about God that you don't know. Don't assume that God is forgiving. Don't assume that God is graceful. God might be like the strict perfectionist type of God that requires like perfection. So that's my message. This video is getting too long. Thanks for watching. Follow the agnostic code. This is my passion, is eternal life. And the best strategy for how one would best increase their odds of gaining eternal life. And this is why I'm also a big promoter of life extension. You know, God is an assumption, okay? We don't know that there's a God. So we need to live forever physically. You know, there might be no afterlife. That's like wishful thinking. So we need to live forever physically with life extension technology. At the same time, try to gain the approval of some sort of theoretical God that may or may not exist, just as an extra precaution to increase our odds, give ourselves the best possible chance of living forever. So that's the message. Thank you for watching.